And one thing about hydration to tell if you're hydrated, I
Yeah.
learned this a while ago. I forgot who I learned this to. Was like people like I tried my clients. I'm like, you need to drink more water. You need to drink more water. And they're like, well, how long? I drank a gallon of water yesterday. I should be hydrated. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like
Yeah.
it takes about a good 4 to 6 weeks to hydrate yourself. What people don't realize is when you people don't like to drink a lot of water because they're like, oh, I don't want to just be on the toilet all day and peeing all day. I'm
I
like, the
was
reason
just
you're
thinking that, bro.
yeah, I'm like, the reason you're on the toilet all day is because that water is not going into your muscles, it's not really going into your fascia. Because you're dehydrated, your organs are overworked. So all that water is going into your liver, your kidneys, and it's just kind of flushing everything out, it's trying to detox everything out, and just trying to eliminate all that crap as much as you can. That's why you're peeing a lot, is because everything is backed up, and your body doesn't trust you right now to basically like, all right, we're gonna start pushing this water into your muscles, into your fascia, because without you can lose muscle and fascia and your body will still be alive. You lose an
Right.
organ, you're fucked.
Right.
So it gets to a point where like 4 to 6 weeks where your body's finally like, all right, I trust you. You're drinking enough water now. Now we're not going to just keep flushing everything out. Now we're going to start pushing that water into your muscle, into your fascia, and that's when the peeing really subsides.
All right, man. Welcome back to another episode of It's More Than Black and White. Your support and your comments. Just what do you have to say about that, man?
Man, yeah, we did well last week. We got a lot of good feedback, especially from the cholesterol video. That was people were blowing up my phone with that one. They
Nice.
really liked that, what I had to say. Um, I went out to a charity event last night, and I bumped into a doctor there that works on the gut, and she heard our program on cholesterol through Ariani, and
What?
she was impressed at what we had to show. So, or
That's
what we were telling people. I was talking with her, and she exchanged information. I was like, I got to get you on the show one day. She's like, oh yeah, I would love that.
let's
So we're
go.
we're
Let's
heading it
go.
around. Shout out to
Um,
Ariani.
Bless up, area. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And listen,
So we got a
people.
couple good comments, and yeah, looking forward to getting a little momentum. You
I
know,
love it, man. I love
that's
it.
that's our goal. Just kind of just get people engaged and show people that it's not just black and white, right?
Exactly, man. And people, please, thank you to those that are listening. Thank you to those that are sharing. Thank you to those that are commenting. It's helping us to bring out the best information to you. And then it's also, listen, like what this doctor was saying, it's helping open people up and just think about things differently. It's more than just one thing or another, man. There's a lot of layers to this. So bless up and thank you. As always, it's your boys, Brian and Paul. Yo, Ebony and Ivory, baby, who you with? Uh, yes, dude. All right, so B, man, as you know, I'm checking in a little under the weather. I got the cooties, man. I got COVID,
Got the
brother.
cooties, man. You got to stay away from them.
I gotta stay away from it, man.
Oh, you
So
can't get the cooties until after first grade. I think you can only get the cooties before that.
that's what I
No?
thought too, but
Yeah.
here I
Been
am.
going around, man. Yeah.
Shit, bro. Now,
Well,
it's funny, man, because like not funny, ha ha, but funny, strange funny, because when I started feeling like crap, I really started to observe my hydration and my water intake.
Mm.
And you and and it's wild because when you and I coordinated, because I had to reschedule our original time, and then told you I was sick. And then when you were like, "Hey, what's the topic?" I was like, "Dang, what is the topic?" Then I looked back, and it was hydration. So I'm like, "Dang, this is so right on time." Because I think hydration is something that is always talked about, especially from our backgrounds in health and well-being, right?
Yeah.
Yet there's these standard facts about hydration that people quote unquote know or quote. Yet there's so much more to this hydration and the components of hydration. So, party people, today Brian and I are going to go into hydration, and we're going to tap into water so we could be a friend of water, so it could be a friend to us. So I want to start off. I really like that concept of water being a friend to us and we being a
I
friend
like
to
it.
water. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No,
I'm,
water is all about information. People have a very basic understanding of water. Like they're like, oh yeah, I know I need to drink more water. I need to like, just keep hydrated and I knew, drink whatever, half my body weight in ounces, and they just don't do it because they don't like it or whatever. They have a very basic foundation of water, but they don't understand like the biology of water, the psychic ability of water. And a lot of new research has been coming out in the last like probably like 20, 30 years. Hasn't really become mainstream yet, but water is super powerful. Water is information. Like people don't realize that, and that's what we're going to kind of tap into today. It's not just drinking water. You can drink the cleanest water in the world, but doesn't mean you're going to get hydrated or that water is good for you, which we'll tap
exactly,
into a little
bro.
bit in a bit.
Bro, exactly. So as we're talking about this, man, I'm looking over on the side and I'm typing in the qualities of the elements of water, right? Because I think it's so what with what you just said, it just put me on just like a small tangent of the qualities of water, of the element of water are emotion and intuition. I think that's so powerful to recognize, and especially when it looks like water symbolizes and represents the feminine qualities in a downward, inward energy. So I'm thinking about what we started talking about. We're gonna get to this later, right? Like as far as like water's travels. But I want to,
Mm.
Brian, so when you think about hydration, what would be the best way that what you would explain hydration and the ways that people get to tap into that?
Yeah, hydration to me, as I started like back in the day when I used to think like hydration, like just drink water and it's
Yeah,
fine.
right,
Like you'll be hydrated if you drink water. The more I've been doing this, I realize that it's not it's the quality of the water that makes you hydrated. Like if
right,
we'll talk about the path of water a little bit later, but if you're drinking city water and it's going through all these pipes, that's a lot of trauma you're putting on the water. And
right,
people don't realize it. Like, what does water have to? Why? Well, how can water be trauma? You got to realize water. It's a conscious living being, and has the capacity to be this highly intellectual living being. But most water we drink is just dormant. There's no
right,
good quality of. You look at healthy water under a microscope. You have organisms. You have bacteria. You have all like healthy bacteria. All this good stuff that's used to vitalize our energy and keep us alive. But most of the water that we drink it just it's sick, it's unhealthy, it's old, it's immature, meaning that it lacks like structures, energetic frequencies,
right,
mineral electrolytes, and the quality of your life force energy has a direct correlation with the water that you're putting in your body.
right.
So like one of the I read a book one time on this guy Philip Lane. He's a world renowned biologist, and he goes, they asked him a question like, what is life? And he said, life is structured water and death is destructured water. So most of us are getting drinking water that's been on a shelf. Like you can like some of the best water in the world is like say Avion. It's
Right.
just a high dissolvance of minerals in it. It's good for you. But if it's sitting on a shelf for a long period of time, it's becoming dormant. It's becoming immature. It's not moving. It's not in its natural state. So you're
Right.
drinking this water and you're actually depleting life force out of your body. People don't realize that. So we'll
Mm.
get into a couple techniques later on how to recharge your water to make sure you can rearrange those molecules in there so you're drinking water that's going to bring vitality into your system.
Mm.
But it's a lot. So if you're
Yeah.
new to this, if you're listening to this, you're like, what the hell? I thought I could just drink, half my body weight in ounces and I'll be fine. No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, that's you see, well, Brian, I'm glad you brought that up because that's the common suggestion, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? Like, stay hydrated, drink X amount of water by your body weight in ounces. And what you bring up is so important because hydrate is the body's ability to absorb water. Yet what I'm hearing you say and what's out there is that the water that sits is really is fail would fail to absorb in the body to help the body in whatever it needs to help lubricate and to hydrate and to nourish and all these different things that the body needs water for, even though we're made up of mostly water. So I think it's
100%.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I think it's important that what you just said because all water is like water's water, right? Yet at the same time,
Yeah.
it's gonna go through this path. And I think I want to pause on a sec. I want to pause for a second because thinking of if there's someone that's watching this that's never met us before, and and when you said water can get traumatized, I first well, this the second time you said it, right? The second time I heard you say it, I'm like, it was easier for me to receive. Yet when we were talking in the pregame and you said it, I was like, damn, I never thought about water could be traumatized, man.
Sure.
You know, because
Water has a psychic ability. Like it's just like our food. Like you
yeah,
have a grass fed like cow that just grazes the land, and then you have a cow that's basically in a setting that is just basically standing in its own feces and urine. Then somebody walks by and shocks it in the head with a electric shocker, and the thing it dies a traumatic death.
yeah,
That traumatization that cow went through, that stays in the meat, and we take on that traumatization.
right, 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 man.
What It's just the same thing. And if you
Carries.
look at it, like our water, like here's the thing. So like clinicians that test people's hydration say they're close to 100% of the people that come to them are dehydrated. This is because our constant lifestyles are constantly drying us out, like eating denatured food all the time. So if a
Right.
lot of people think like we are like 70% water by volume, but molecularly speaking, as if you're counting all the molecules in the body, we're actually roughly 99.92% water.
Jeez.
So people don't realize that everything, our bodies are just a basically just a
It's
lake
water.
over a river, wherever water, man.
So
That's
we
it.
could flow, man. We could
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah.
Yo,
And there's a
dude.
lot of cool studies out there with the moto, right? I don't know if we want to get into this now, but like he
Well,
has a lot of things. Go ahead, bud.
no, actually, yeah, please let's start to dive into that, man. Because I think that's important for people to know what that is. Like what
Yeah. So this guy, I forgot his first name, Hashimoto or something like that. No, that's actually a thyroid disease. Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry, Moto.
yeah. All good, man. But it's I know it's
I forgot his name,
Emoto.
but his last name is Emoto. He's probably one of the world renowned water people out there. He has a lab over in Japan, and he proved that water actually has a psychic ability. So if you take like a liter of water and you pour half a liter in one cup and half a liter in the other cup, and you give it to somebody, say, the Dalai Lama or whatever like that, then you give the other cup to somebody that's has like say bipolar, a psychiatric issue, or you bring it to a psychiatric ward,
Yeah.
then you test the water, they'll all have different structures of the water based on that person's feelings. So the water picks
Mm.
up on somebody's feelings, and it either makes the water mature or it denatures the water. So be very careful where you get your water supply from.
Brother, true words. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
so this is so Brian, can you see that, man? Can you see
Yeah.
that? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring this up as you're discussing this because I think it's important. And I just searched on the internet with this. This was like this was an eye opener for me when I first learned about this study because I first learned about it when I was getting attuned to Reiki. And our Reiki teacher was saying, like, listen, things that we are around carry vibrations and they can store energy, even the water. And she brought about this study by it's and the name is Hashimo or Masuro Emoto, Emoto. So what I really found fascinating with this is that if I speak to a water in a certain way or I speak to anything in a certain way, it's going to carry that vibration, right? Now,
Yeah.
what we tend to do is like, and this is in alignment with what you're saying, is like we just drink it. We have no idea what's aligned or what's in that water, and then what's in that water comes into us because now it's like intermingling. So I think it's important that people understand, and there's a whole book on this. Like the water and the ways that the things that we say carry weight in like what's being taken into our body. And I think it's important coming back to what you were saying with the travel of water. Like it's all like, yeah, there's manufactured. Like I was in Whole Foods a couple days ago, and I saw a water called Liquid Death. And I
Yeah.
was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was shocked. I was like,
Yeah.
Liquid Death?
Yeah.
It made no sense. Like, why would I drink a
Yeah.
water that says Liquid Death?
Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. They try to market it, but that just like, anybody that has any, you know, common sense or studied any even a little bit of what about water and what it does, um, should not be pursuing liquid death.
Dude, so it's
You
not a
know,
good look. Not a good look. So watch what you say the water,
no.
watch the packaging of your water. The thing I wanted to touch on too is like when you were saying that the clinicians, when they tested hydration, they found that close to 100% or 100% of people were dehydrated, right?
Yeah.
So, what are the traditional tests that you've observed that people can look at to notice their hydration? Because what I tend to do to go to gauge my hydration is the
Mhm.
color of my urine.
Yeah.
Like if that junk is like slow yellow, then like man, I got a whole lot of water to drink. But if it's
Yeah.
close to clear, then it's different.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah. So like that depends because there's times where I took like mega multivitamins and
Yeah,
then I go take use the bathroom maybe like in like an hour or two later. My yellow's like my piss is like almost like fluorescent orange because
yeah,
I'm peeing out all those vitamins.
yeah.
So there's a couple ways you can do it. A lot of them are kind of subjective. It's not like 100%, but there's like a pinch test one where you grab the back of somebody's hand, you pull it up, then you let
Yeah.
it kind of snap back down, and it should snap back down right away. If you're dehydrated, it can take like 2 or 3 seconds for the skin to go down. There's
Huh.
another one where you pinch like your fingernail until you get like that pink and white, and then you let it go, and it should go back to normal within about 2 to 3 seconds. If not, and that pink and white is still there, that's also a sign of dehydration. And there's another one where when people like you ever see people have like those they when they get home from work and they take off their shoes and they take off their socks and they have the sock outlinings on their, it's kind of like engraved in their legs.
Yes.
That's a sign of dehydration because it's the imprint of that. Again, it's not 100%, but those are just some classic arbitrary signs, I guess, of ways you can kind of do it on a subjective level. So
I always
that's
thought I
it.
just had some tight ass socks, man. I was
Again, it could be that you just have some tight socks, but these are ways or some of the people out there are, I don't agree with 100%. Like it's
right.
either like if somebody has lining on their legs from socks, I'm like, oh, this guy's dehydrated, but
Yeah.
it, something to look into, you know?
Yeah, B. I appreciate you saying. I appreciate you sharing those guides, man. Those tips. And,
Yeah. And one
and
thing about hydration to tell if you're hydrated, I
yeah,
learned this a while ago. I forgot who I learned this to was like people like I tried my clients, I'm like, you need to drink more water, you need to drink more water. And they're like, well, how long, I drank a gallon of water yesterday. I should be hydrated. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like
yeah,
it takes about a good 4 to 6 weeks to hydrate yourself. What people don't realize is when you people don't like to drink a lot of water because they're like, oh, I don't want to just be on the toilet all day and peeing all day. I'm
I
like, the
was
reason
just
you're
thinking that, bro.
yeah, I'm like the reason you're on the toilet all day is because that water is not going into your muscles, it's not really going into your fascia. Because you're dehydrated, your organs are overworked. So all that water is going into your liver, your kidneys, and it's just kind of flushing everything out. It's trying to detox everything out and just trying to eliminate all that crap as much as you can. That's why you're peeing a lot, is because everything is backed up and your body doesn't trust you right now to basically like, all right, we're gonna start pushing this water into your muscles, into your fascia, because without you can lose muscle and fascia and your body will still be alive. You lose an
Right,
organ, you're fucked.
right,
So it gets to a point where like 4 to 6 weeks where your body's finally like, all right, I trust you. You're drinking enough water now. Now we're not going to just keep flushing everything out. Now we're going to start pushing that water into your muscle, into your fascia, and that's when the peeing really subsides. So that's important as well there too,
oh,
to know that. So if you're peeing a lot, you're probably dehydrated,
right.
you know?
Thank you for that, because I noticed that, especially when I kick in, when I notice that my water intake is suffering, I'll kick it back up. I'll notice that I'll pee a lot in the beginning, like I'm on the
Mhm.
toilet, right?
Yeah,
Then it slows down. Although my water intake is the same, it's still on the high uptick. I notice it slows
yeah,
down. And it's very interesting that you say that, man, because we talk about the fascia and the hydration of the muscles and of our organs, but like few people really get to understand that point of view that you just said. And I think a lot of the common things that or the resistance in people like, oh, I want to be high, I do want to drink more water, but I still want to be on the toilet all day. Like, yo, it means like you got to flush some things out, man. Like it is a way of flushing the body of toxins and getting rid
yeah.
of things the body doesn't need.
Definitely, definitely. And make sure you have enough electrolytes in your body so that water gets into the cells. A lot of people they drink a lot of water, but they don't become hydrated because
Right.
they just lack your trace minerals throughout your body. You need sodium, potassium, magnesium, all that stuff to flush that water into your cells to get you more hydrated. So
So that's
that's another.
interesting, man. So let's pause for a second and talk about some of these things like the supplements with hydration, because I think one of the key factors, especially when it comes to joint health, um, muscular perform like overall athletic performance and ability to move and operate, hydration
Yeah,
plays a key factor. Yet I think
sure.
there's you mentioned something that I think is very important. I want to highlight is that there still gets to be some minerals in the body that are going to help the body to absorb the water that the
Yeah,
person's taking in. So what would you? I heard you say
yeah.
magnesium, sodium, because we talked about
Yeah,
sodium.
electrolytes. I would go with some kind of electrolyte powder
Yeah,
or some kind of form. Make sure it's just clean. It's not like it doesn't have any like additives or any kind of other BS chemicals in it. It should just be pure electrolytes. Another way you can do it, which is a lot cheaper, just take a pinch of like sea salt, like
yeah.
either gray Celtic, pink Himalayan, black Hawaiian, and put a pinch per liter in your water. If you taste it, you probably put too much into it. And that has like, something like 50 or 60 trace minerals. And that can act as an electrolyte too. Just make sure it's not white. White, there's a big difference between white salt and regular
Diesel.
natural salt.
Yeah.
Sea salt and like sodium chloride is a big difference.
Okay.
So you
Got
can
it.
do it. You can do it that way, and just and other ways you can do it. We can get into we'll get talk about it a little bit later. It's like charging your water that'll
Yeah.
help you with hydration,
Yeah.
um, stuff like that.
I want to get to that because I love that piece. And before we get there, though, I know one of the things that a lot of, and I use it too. I use it too, where with water when it's times and at times when I'm like, I'm freaking sick of drinking water, man. I'm tired of this.
Yeah,
I'll put a lemon in there. I'll put a lime in there or something. Like I hear what you said. I'm gonna do a little sea salt in there for the electrolyte. So actually, a couple of things I want to touch on. Like, what are your thoughts on people putting in like a lemon or a lime in their
yeah.
water, especially when they're waking up in the morning? What are the benefits
Yeah,
or thoughts?
lemons and limes are they're very acidic, but once you
Yeah,
bring it into your system, it's very alkalizing. So definitely, yeah, throw some if you can throw some lemons and limes in your water,
yeah.
yeah, you're going a long way. That'll
Okay.
help big time.
Bless up.
People like that taste too.
Yeah, yeah. I like the lime taste, especially like if you can find key limes. Golly, it is
Mhm.
nice, man. It's a nice, like, especially in the morning. I love that in the summertime. And as I'm talking about, I'm gonna find some key limes and start doing that
Yeah,
in my morning. Since now that I've been sick, it's like I don't I'm like just resting most of the time, and my mind gets to think about a lot of things. And I'm really starting to
yeah,
focus in on, well, how have I been taking care of my body and my mind? Because I'm a big believer that when my body breaks down and gets sick, is because like I'm failing to take care of it or I've run it down in a way. So
yeah,
what are the ways I can help it
sure,
restore?
yeah,
Before we get into the charging piece, you mentioned something about the electrolytes, which I think is important. Because especially, and I'm going to bring this into for athletes or people that are that work out, I know we talk a lot about there's like, things like Gatorade and I don't know what other juices are out there. But like
Yeah.
those are touted as like those drinks of hydration for sports performances. And I know, and you mentioned something key, like, make sure you have electrolyte without a lot of I fail to remember how
Yeah.
you described it, but a lot of the extra gook, right? So
Yeah.
what are the, like, from your background and experience, like, what are the things for people to really be aware of when they're starting to bring in electrolytes outside of what you recommended?
Yeah. First of all, I think Gatorade is absolute shit. It just does with the
Oh.
marketing. Uh, but like, like I don't know how else to say it. Like, you want to put stuff in your body that's natural. I haven't looked at Gatorade ingredients in a while. You can, if you want to look it up while I'm talking. But it used to have like all these dyes in it. It used to have high fructose corn syrup in it. And one thing you need to realize, and I've talked about this before, or we talked about this before, not all supplements are alike. So when somebody tells me, hey, listen, I'm on magnesium, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, is it magnesium citrate? Is it magnesium oxide? Is it magnesium ornate? Like, the most important thing about a supplement is his last name, it's not his first name. So when you're in magnesium, just happens to be an electrolyte. So when it says, oh, Gatorade is rich with electrolytes, that the quality of electrolytes that's in Gatorade is absolute shit. You're not, it's garbage. You might as well just be eating a brick, to
Um,
replenish yourself. I'm not saying if you don't have anything else, yeah, go for it. I don't want, yeah, look at it right there, yellow number 6. And if you look up, like, I don't know, I forgot what it is off the top of my head, like, what is yellow 6? Like, what are the side effects of having yellow 6? And I guarantee it's probably some kind of carcinogenic, or it's going to hurt some part of your liver.
oh, wow.
Is yellow 6 safe? Is bad for you?
Wow.
Is poisonous additive, provides no nutritional value and numerous harmful side effects. So we're putting that in our system. All those, like blue dye number, whatever, 4, red dye 2, anything that's going to make something colorful, it's just absolute shit for you. And like, we're putting that a grade F. I don't think you get lower than an F. I tried in school and I couldn't. So, but it's absolute junk. And the problem is, like, you get all
Right.
these like sports teams out there, and every, like, the NFL, like Gatorade, all this program, be like Nike, and all this. Michael Jordan promoted Gatorade and all this other stuff, and people think it's healthy for you. Oh, it's filled with electrolytes. Yeah, but it's the shit electrolytes, and now you're putting carcinogenics in your body with the yellow number 6. We have
Right.
natural flavors, which basically just means just like bullshit, and it's absolute garbage, and you're
Jeez.
you're you're causing more harm to your body than anything else by putting that. I'd rather you be dehydrated than drink that crap.
Dang, man. And they
So
market it
that's
so
my two
well.
cents.
Huh?
Now you know how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, really. It's like I wish you would really tell us how you feel.
Yeah, I don't
Because
think Gatorade is going to sponsor us anytime soon for this
most likely not.
YouTube channel.
Most likely not.
I think we just
So
lost the
it's a
sponsor.
wrap. Hey, listen, man, don't come after us, Gatorade, man. We're just speaking
Yeah,
truth right here.
yeah,
And it's on the
yeah,
internet, man. Blame them,
yeah.
man. Blame them.
No,
But I think it's important because, especially for parents that watch this, and I know in the areas where we are, like there's a lot of scholar athletes. There's a lot of athletes that are out there that drinking Gatorade. It's like it's the most common thing that's out there, sponsored in schools and all these different things. And I think it's important for parents to know, and athletes to know, like, what you're putting in your body. And the key thing is, and I'm going to stress this again for everybody listening and watching. Our main objective is to help educate you. We're providing information and insight here. Like, you get to make the choice on what's going to be best for your body. Like, yo, you can still hear this and be like, I don't give a crap what you say. That electric blue Gatorade is the shit. Cool,
yeah.
man. Yo, like, just know what you're putting in your body. Know what to do to take care of your body. That's our main intention here.
People need to realize, if you're an athlete, you have a certain window, a window to perform before you can't play that sport no more on a
Right,
professional level.
right,
Like, what you put in your body is literally your protoplasm, your tendons, your ligaments. So that's why, like, I watch football. Like, I mean, I know it's a very violent game, but there's
right,
so many injuries, even with any sport, so many injuries that are like that happen all the time, and people don't look at their nutrition. Like if you get these athletes that are eating like Big Macs and pizza, going out drinking, they're drinking Gatorade on the sideline. That's literally your tendons and ligaments, and
Yeah.
you expect them to perform at a high level. I mean, it's not their job. It's not their job to understand that, but it should be like surrounding people around you. Like if I owned my own NFL team, the
Right.
first thing I would do is I would hire some kind of holistic health practitioner and be like, hey, I'll sign you a long-term deal, no problem. I'll sign you to a big deal. However, if I ever catch you eating anything non-organic,
Right.
drinking water, only water, like you're done. Like that'd
Right.
be it. That'd be like, that's the way I would invest in my people.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if you're out there eating Big Macs and you decide to run 20 miles an hour and hit somebody head on, you're going to injure yourself 9 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
because your joints are just garbage, your muscles garbage. You can only perform at
Mm.
that for so long. They should,
Mm.
every single one of them should be like monitored. Every single player out there should be monitored as a team. Like they have strength coaches, they should have nutrition coaches, they should have all this stuff. That's the problem, they don't have it.
Right.
But
Well, man, you know what? Listen, let's set the intention that someone from a sports team or has access to a sports team gets to share this video, and that could plant the seed. Because if you think about it, it's an investment. It's an investment in the
totally.
person, it's an investment in their body. Whether you're the owner, you're the actual individual player, it's still like an investment for you to have. Because listen, you could play football or play basketball, whatever, and after you're done, you still got a life. You still got to walk
Yeah.
around. You still got to go sit down, run, do all these things, pick up your children, all that stuff. You still got to be able to move. So what you're doing to your body now in a sport is very important. How you nurture and take care of it, so you can take care of it
Yeah.
after the sport, man. Hey, I
Yes.
want to dive into now, like that magician mystic part of this conversation, the charging of the water, changing the molecules. We started with
Yeah.
Emoto and his work, right? And like that is
Yeah.
really like I like that magician archetype. Oh, am I breaking up again? Am I
No,
breaking
you're
up?
you're good. A little bit,
Yeah,
but you're
okay.
you're okay.
So the magician archetype of changing the molecules in water. So
Yeah.
when we were doing the pregame, you talked about that, and I'm wondering, can you start off with like you said something that really fascinated me with like how water comes down like the streams and it's like this natural flow. Then you talked
Yeah.
about how when it's in the factories, it's like these jagged, like Vogue lines and shit. And
Yeah.
talk to people about that impact. And then, like, if you can, then let's start to talk about the charging in different ways, man.
Yeah. So, what's his name? Schauberger, who was like the main guy who's down on about talks about water. I've read a few of his books back in the day. Forgot his first name off the top of my head, but he was basically like water in its natural state is supposed to go down mountains, crisscross back and forth down streams, and that's its net. And if you take that water and you look it under a microscope, it has this like hexagonal, like beautiful crystal, kind of like the crystals you were shown before that Moto put up.
Yeah.
Now the way water travels and gets to us is totally different. So the way water gets to us nowadays, so when the liver removes these toxins from our body, we flush it down the toilet. It goes into the sewer where many pass, where many chemicals, they kind of pass in through the sewage treatment facilities, so it
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't block all the chemicals. Some actually leak through, and it gets recycled back into our municipal water, and that's for us to consume again. So like basically anytime you have like a kind of like tap water and you're drinking out of that, those crystals are totally deformed. They're denatured. They're probably causing more harm than effect. You got fluoride, you got chlorine, you got atrazine, which we talked about, which changes the male reproductive system into a female. So the water goes through a lot of trauma, and you got to understand water is a living organism. So you like if you're going through all these unnatural force movements, like Emoto talks about, like all these pipes, it's not like a one pipe. You got 90-degree angles, it's bang, bang, going reverse, going back and forth. Then you have over 1,000 man-made chemicals, pharmaceutical drugs, birth control pills, toiletries, and household cleaners in the water that's going in our system. So these crystals, they're
Yeah.
non-existent. So when we're receiving this water, it's just totally denatured. And this goes for bottled water, even like healthy bottled water. Like some of the best waters in the world are like Avion, Volvic, Fiji water, stuff like that. Those are really clean bottles of water, but they still, because they're sitting on a shelf, they're not flowing and they're not performing what they should be doing. Like water's natural tendency is to be flowing back and forth. It's not to be supposed to be sit on a shelf, trapped in a plastic bottle. So it causes traumatization to this water. And again, it might be like, oh, it's just water, but this is proven research over the last 20, 30 years. You take a water that's free flowing, you take a water that's sitting on a shelf, no matter, you take the same clean water, it's going to have different effects on the body. So that's basically a background, excuse me, a background into how our water gets to us and why our water is traumatized in this place. And also just kind of remember too, like a little side note before we get into the magical part of restructuring your water, is people are like, oh, what happens if I have a reverse osmosis? That should clear everything up. You want to make sure you're taking care. If you do have reverse osmosis, first of all, you want to make sure you're taking care of it, because it can make you sick if you don't. Gotcha. It creates a lot of acidity in the body if you're not keeping up on it. So, and two, before you get any kind of water system, always have your water tested to kind of see what it needs. So you might have something that doesn't need reverse osmosis. Maybe you need a carbon filter for your house. You might need this filter for your house. So get your water tested first before you actually get a filterization system into your house. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's something to kind of look into. People just go automatically go right away, and they get a filtration system, and they don't know what it's filtrating. It's just like whatever they find out that pops up on Google. That's like kind of going to your doctor and taking a drug before they test you why you need that drug.
Yeah.
So kind of, look at it that way.
And,
so
yeah.
Go ahead, bud.
Well, quick question, man. So I'm thinking about one of the more common water filtration systems is Brita. Right. So what's the thoughts on Brita? Because if the water, if there's different things that people's water needs, yet I'm taking, like, Brita's a worldwide sold product, right? Like, so it's just like standard filter. So what are your thoughts on that product, man?
My opinion from where Brita was, say, like, I haven't checked on what they've been doing the last like 5 or 6 years, but it's a garbage filter. Will it filter out some things? Yeah, but you're probably going to get fluoride, chlorine, all these other chemicals in it. Is it better than nothing? Sure, why not? Yeah, but gotcha. It's not gonna. You're not drinking. Don't get confused. You're not drinking clean water. Drinking out of a Brita filter.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, man, because like I save my water jug bottles, like when I used to get like the delivery system. So I have like a bunch of these jugs, and I go to my local Whole Foods and I refill them with the reverse osmosis water, right? Like they have like the reverse osmosis, they have alkaline, and then they have another like advanced something water. And I'm a big fan of it because it's just like, listen, this Whole Foods, now I'm just like, damn, are they making sure they checking the filter and shit? But like, it's
I'm pretty sure like they have. I would say, like, even though they're a big corporation, like, I mean, as much as I don't really trust our government agencies, I'm sure they're going in there, they're checking to make sure everything is running clean.
Right. Yep.
That's another rant, but but I would hope to be checking up on their system.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Thank you, man.
That's a good question, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important for people because, listen, there's, my friend Omar put me onto that, man, because I was constantly like using the Poland Spring system, and like they deliver water, and then blah, blah, blah. My friend Omar was just like, I was at Whole Foods and he was like, yo, man. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm filling up my water. I was like, that's what this is? Like, I would pass this thing on a regular, and I didn't even know what this thing was.
Yeah.
So I was so grateful for him for showing me that, and like and schooling me on that. And I think it was important because, like, I can have more control of my water. And I think that's important because, especially as we move into how we charge our water, And I want to dive into like what
Yeah.
does it mean to charge? So that term is like if I'm going to infuse something into my water, if I'm going to, like, for example, we're mostly water, right? If I'm going to charge Brian up with
Yeah.
something, I'm going to charge Brian up and be like, oh, Brian, you're the freaking tip top galactic mastermind. You have a mind and insight to do amazing things, man. You're an amazing dude. I'm going to charge him up with wise words, with words that mean something, right? So now his cells vibrate differently. It's the same thing we could
Yes.
do to water, just like how Emoto did, right? And you can bring in
Yeah.
crystals. You can bring in, you had a couple other things in here too, Brian. Crystals, rocks,
Yeah. So a couple things you
quartz.
can do, like, yeah, quartz. Yeah, you're more into you know more about crystals than I do, but they talk about quartz, like putting a quartz into your water. But there's different ways you have to cleanse your crystals, right? Like through the moon and everything like that. You if you would talk about that, you know more about that than I do.
Yep. I got
But
you. Yep. Go ahead, man.
I don't know the significance behind quartz. I don't know, but maybe you do off the top of your head.
Nah, not really. I know, well, I know
Okay. All
quartz.
right.
I know, like, for example, different quartz, like there's pink quartz and there's a regular quartz, but it's
Yeah.
um it's an earth element, so it's definitely a grounding element that you can put into the
Mm,
water. One of the key
yeah.
things to, especially when you talk about cleaning it, is that you want to, and you could do this with water too. Like if you have crystals in a jug of a glass jug, preferably a glass jug, no plastic, you can lay it out under a full moon, man. The moon will clean and rinse and clear those crystals, and the water, it'll charge the water in a certain way. So, like for example, you
Yeah.
have like if you have different types of minerals and stones, you can clean them, and you can look at the properties, and you can use, if those properties are in alignment with what you want, like if it's health or it's like joint function or like emotional stability or whatever it is, you can find that gem or that crystal, cleanse it, put it in water, and let that charge your water, especially if you put it out under moonlight, man. It's
Yeah.
a powerful, powerful component, man. Step.
Definitely. Definitely. There's other things you can do. You can stir your water, create like a vortex, so goes back to its natural element. They say
Mm,
do that for about 30 seconds, and studies have shown that it changes that dormant crystal or that kind of like deformed crystal into a hexagonal crystal.
mm.
Mix that with like positive affirmations. So again, we're going back to Emoto, and make sure those affirmations just don't say the word. Put intention behind it, put
Yes,
feeling behind
indeed.
it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Another cool thing that I saw was you can pour your water into a singing bowl and play something. So if you don't know what a singing bowl, it's basically like a bowl, and it's called a singing bowl, and you have like this tool that you kind of rub around the edges, and it makes like some kind of Hertz noise, Hertz, not Hurts, Hertz noise, and it raises the vibration of your water and restructures all the molecules in there as well. And another thing you can do to kind of recharge your water, like what Paul was talking about before, is putting like fruits in there, like lemons and limes and other kind of herbs in your water. Some people put flowers in their water. I
Mm.
don't recommend drinking the flower, but you can put the flower in your water, you know. So
Yo,
those are ways
like,
you can recharge your water. So what
let
I've
me.
been doing the last like 3 or 4 months since I kind of hop came upon this or hop upon this was I started mixing my water with like a they say don't do it with a spoon because it has like almost like a curve and it messes it up. I don't know why, but like a chopstick, just kind of go back and forth with a chopstick for about 30 seconds, create it, and then I drink it. And that's like the best time to do it because your water's fully charged by then. Yep. So something to look into.
I'm digging that. I
Yeah.
like all these suggestions, man, because it's really caring for this thing, this caring for this vessel, this element that we're putting in our body. And I was telling Brian, I'm Reiki attuned, so I like make putting my symbols and intention in the water. And whether you're
Yeah.
a Reiki attuned or not, you can still create, or and Brian mentioned, you can still put an intention into your water. Like this is what I need help with. This is what I see you as. This is what you are. This is what I am. Help me align. Like Whatever it is, whatever the intention is, you put that in and be specific about it. Because
Yeah.
if you're and there's something that I also want to bring into this too, is that when when you're consuming water, what's your state of being? Are you in a pissy mood? Are you frustrated? Are you angry? If so, bless up to that emotion
Mm-hmm.
and allow your water break to be a meditative experience to help bring you to calm. It is a natural element, and that's one of its main purposes. It's emotional and it's intuitive. So if we're bringing it comes back to everything we talked about. If I'm in a fucked up state, man, I'm like, my mind is in a bad freaking place. That water is going to take on what I am in that moment. So while we talk about these charges and like how we charge it, I also see this as an experience to pause, take your time, set an intention, because those moments, that 30 seconds Brian's talking about, take the chopstick, stir around. Guess what? You're separating from that state of mind, especially if it was a poor or destructive state of being. You're separating yourself from that space and creating something new for yourself, creating a space for that water, you and that water to become one, to heal and align your physical form and being, man. So I think it's
Yeah.
like, that just hit me, like, as we were talking about, I was just like, dang, man, you know what? We are, what we consume is who we are, right? So we talked about this with like fast
Yeah.
food and like stuff like that, and like taking your time and all these things. So people, take your time, and when you're drinking water, um, yeah, make sure you get your. And also, it be before we wrap up, I've been a big fan of always drinking water first thing when I wake up, right? Thoughts on that? Like, because I
Yeah.
know there's people out there that may do this.
No,
Also,
no,
water at
definitely.
night. Sometimes people don't want to drink water at night. Any last minute tidbits for people
Yeah,
on
like
water
I
consumption?
got this so what I used to do, I don't do it anymore. I do drink water first thing when I wake up in the morning, but I used to put a pinch of sea salt in there, some cayenne pepper,
Oh,
some turmeric, and some what was the other thing I put in there? A lemon, and I would mix it, and it would be good for like detoxification of the liver, and I just kind of like pound that.
and that's in the morning.
So I did that for about a year. I like it. I need to get back into it. You just kind of reminded me, but you need to I need to create a habit with that and just kind of start that back up again. But
Gotcha.
another thing, like we kind of talked about too, like you mentioned on like have the intent behind everything. Like one of Emoto's famous um what's the word, experiments that he did was he took a jar, two different jars, and on one jar he put like love, peace, and it had those beautiful crystals that you showed, and the
Yep.
other jar he put intention behind hate, evil, and all this other stuff, and he had let these jars sit side by side, and every
Yeah.
morning he would wake up, he would show love to this one jar, he would show hate to this other jar, and after 30 days this one jar was beautiful, crystal clear, and the jar that had the evil and hate words on it that he's putting attention was all murky. So
Mm.
I try to tell a lot of clients this is not like airy fairy, like we just talked about. Or on a molecular level, we are 99.9% water. If your
Mm.
emotions are crap, your whole body is murky. So
Right.
like for me, like the biggest thing I see just being going around this holistic thing, like we talk about your muscle controlled by organs, your organs are controlled by hormones, your hormones are controlled by your foods and thoughts. So if you come down with like some kind of disease or whatever like that, first thing you should be doing is be like take responsibility. It's tough sometimes, be like, all right, maybe I caused this with my outlook on life, or maybe I caused this by having these negative emotions about myself. Clear up that murky water first, and then chances are you're like, I'm not saying it's going to cure everything, but that's where you kind of want to start as far as the hierarchy on a holistic level.
Right,
Check
bro.
your emotions first, because all the drugs in the world ain't going to do shit for you if you don't have the right mindset.
Brother,
That's it.
bruh,
Yeah.
bruh. See, man, this is one of the many reasons I adore you, man, because, bruh, this is where I've been, man, since I was feeling like doo doo on freaking Monday night. I knew something was up, man. I was like, yo, man, what? I was like, shit. Man, I was going to bed. I was like, I even took a bath Monday night. I was like, come on, body, come on. I was in the water like, I, I know, just let it pass. Brother, then it was like, ow, hit a brother, man. And I
Yeah.
had to, and again, this is like, I'm going to take another bath after this. And I've been in this meditation. I think I have like another 2 more days where I gotta isolate and shit. Um, and like that's on my mind, man. Like, okay, what were the reasons? Like, taught like really connected with my body, my mind, and my spirit. Hey, what brought this on? Like, what were the things I was doing? Take
Yeah.
responsibility. And this, bro, this is again, dude, this is what we're talking about when we in more than black or white, bro. Is taking personal responsibility for what's happening in your life, what's happening with your body, what's happening with your mind, what's happening with your emotions, your spirit, because all these things matter, man. And we are
Yeah.
responsible for all of them. And we have tools to support us in all of them, man. So let's take advantage of it, man.
Yeah.
Big.
Like I woke up this morning, I felt like a little crappy. Like I mean, I woke up around 4:30 normal time I wake up, but I
Yeah.
just felt like a little drained today. I was like, man, I just a little out of it. So first thing I do is like, all right, get my meditation, some cultivate some gratitude, try to, get my vibration up.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I look at is like, all right, what I I like to empower myself and tell myself I caused this issue. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to blame it on anybody else. So I don't like that's just my personality. So I try
Yeah.
to empower myself. Like, all right, what did I do to cause this? All right, maybe did I, maybe I don't know. Maybe I went to Iceland last week. I had too many beers, whatever
Yeah.
it was, or I didn't sleep that well, or what is the universe trying to tell me by making me not feel well? Do I
Right.
need to appreciate my body more? Do I need to look at life different? I don't know, whatever it is, but I try to like learn something from each crisis. Not that it's a major crisis. I just, I'm sure I'll be fine tomorrow, but just
Yeah.
try to learn something for each one because the universe and your emotions are always trying to signal you. But
Good
like
word.
you said before, can you be aware of it? One, and two, can you not play the victim role and blame some kind of external source on it? That's the trick, and that's the beauty of life,
Yeah,
knowing
brother.
that you have the power to heal yourself. You don't need the external stuff. You
Brother.
know,
Mic drop.
Mic drop. See you guys later. Boom.
And it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Listen,
Yep.
listen, people, thank you for chopping it up, sitting and like being in this conversation with us. Hey, leave comments, man. We love to hear your comments. We've been seeing comments coming through. Love those because it gives us insight as to what's really resonating with you. And we've also seen in comments some topics you want us to cover. So let's cover it. Let share them. Let's talk about it. Let's bring what if you're thinking like something is good for us to talk about, chances are other people want to hear that too. So please share in the comments. Please like, please comment, please share. Like this is for more people. The more you like, comment, and share, the more this gets out to more people through that YouTube galaxy. So thank you. Be any last words, man, before we wrap, bro?
No, man, I appreciate you all for watching this, giving us good feedback. We're even open to critical feedback, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, please.
We're learning. We're all in this journey together. We plan on being in this for a while.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, just appreciate the comments, the subscribe, all the support out there in the community. Like I said, my phone's been blowing up lately with all the thank you. I didn't know this is great, helping you out. And this is why we do this. We do this so we can try to up educate people and empower people.
yeah,
And we hope we do this for a long time. We
yeah.
will be doing this for a long time. So,
Damn right, brother.
hang tight.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Yeah.
Check out, like and share this, comment, and share. And also check out the other episodes that we have a lot of great content out there. Peace, everybody. Until next time, out.